what do y'all think about Trumpito, or if it's even him taking away these mailboxes, or I mean, niggas been defunding, if per se, just not allocating a certain amount of money to the USPS, the Postal Service. What do y'all think about that?
It's fucked up.
I know.
Well, I just want to say we touched. I want to say we touched on this last episode, and we predicted that
This was some dumb shit.
This was what was going to happen. So I just feel like at this point, he can do whatever he wants, man. I feel like he's trying to rig this shit, man. Any way he can.
So last week we talked about Joe Biden and the Democrats, you know what I'm saying, swinging basically, you know what I'm saying, this is the 12th quarter. I mean, this is the 12th round throwing haymakers. Yeah. Like, I think might be the epitome. I mean, this might be the counterpunch for Trump. And I don't have the stats and I don't have the records of, like, you know what I'm saying, where the mailboxes and shit were taken from.
Right.
But my guess, this is my guess, not anybody else's guess or any knowledge that I have. But my guess would be those shits, the mailboxes that were taken, them shits was probably like all in like remotely like Democrat run like areas or provinces or
in the boonies though, in the boonies.
Nah, I seen a picture in downtown Silver Spring.
Oh, for real?
All right. The IG account Moco show.
Niggas is not irate. This motherfucker.
If you think about Silver Spring, and how diverse Silver Spring is, that's, you know what I'm saying? That's like every ethnicity in Silver Spring.
That's why I said that. I was like, I don't see that happening in PG County, dog. I don't see that happening in PG County.
Why not?
Why not?
I mean, they have no control over it.
And I'm not even talking about physically seeing with my eyeballs and shit. I just cannot see that in my mind happening in PG County because it might be surprising.
To be honest, I don't really like pay attention to like those blue mailboxes like anymore. Like if I'm not like going to the post office or going, checking my personal mail, I'm not paying attention to those blue boxes.
Right, and that's the thing. So, and that's why I know it's always two things, but my joint is like I know that joint is probably like weird. It's super weird for you to do that shit, but it's also like, you know what I'm saying. It's also not. All right, so this is the problem when it's done in like the Democratic, not only the Democratic, but it's done in the areas in which like people are taking away access to. So like if it's done in Moco, we have access, Moco and PG County. Like there are plenty of like different like United States Postal Services and like drop boxes and different things of that nature that could be easily utilized. But at the same time, when that shit in like different rural areas, not necessarily talking about like in city areas, but like in rural areas where there's nothing else around, and like you literally have to venture off and go down like the dirt paths and different things to try to find like an actual mailbox and different things. That's when it's fucked up, and that's where I think like the fucked up part about it is because like I was saying, like if it's done in like the Democratic areas, like it's also the Republicans or some of the Republicans have no problems with like venturing off and going to different places. Mm-hmm. Standing in polls and standing in lines and shit, knowing that, you know what I'm saying, like, I don't give a fuck about masks and all that bullshit. But, like, some of the Democrats or some of the people are thinking, like, you know what I'm saying, it's better than whatever the situation is, and I actually want to place my mail-in vote in. And so when you actually take up mail-in votes and you actually are making people go to the post office and go do different things that are outside of their norm, that's when it's going. That's when it can fuck up. But And yes, granted, like some people don't mail off shit, but the appearance of it during election time, that's when the shit looks real shaky, real iffy.
Yeah, it looks shaky.
It's not even looking iffy. We everybody who has a fucking conscience in here, and who has been to school, y'all niggas know this shit is for what it is. It is exactly what it looks like. It is exactly what it looks like. This nigga is trying to fuck this shit up. He does not want niggas voting.
He already said that shit.
It's simple as that.
He literally already said if they win, it was rigged. He already called it now.
While pulling away mailboxes, it's already rigged. If they win, it's already rigged. It's like,
just He just be wilding, man. This is the wildest motherfucker I've ever seen on TV ever.
It's like the whole like format to do so. Isn't that like it's fit to be rigged anyway? Like why are people mailing in shit? Like who's to say like this amount of votes come from this amount of area? Like you can rig the shit regardless if that's the format. Like why can't people just fucking vote the regular way, be 6 feet apart? Like niggas is in Walmart in lines. Like what's the difference? You can wait in line at Walmart 6 feet apart, fucking pay self-checkout and shit. Like why can't you do the same at your local elementary school? Like what's the difference?
No, so I think the difference might be basically like, so at Walmart, hopefully that shit is a quick trip. That shit is a quick trip, whereas though you know what you
still gotta stand outside most of the time to get in the goddamn Walmart.
Right, but I know, but that's what I'm saying. It's still a quick remote. It's supposed to be a remotely quick trip.
You go with a woman.
Okay. but so what I'm trying yes, but at the same time, like you know exactly what you're going in there for, and like you know the estimated duration of the time that you're gonna be in there. Like with polling, you're right, you don't know exactly how long you're gonna be in there, especially with some But like with polling, like legit, like you're based off of somebody else knowing the system. You actually have to go like so many different layers of like different things. And once again, like I bring up the like standing in line for the election. Like yes, I love to do that shit. But I remember, like I said, I remember when we had to vote for Obama, and like literally that fucking line was dumb shit out the door. Like however on the line was, like standing in line for hours. So let alone you literally are standing in line for hours when you're 6 feet apart. Like, and then you already know how, like, hypothetically speaking, we are black people. Like, if you ride by the line, see that shit, like regardless if you know that shit is, if you know that shit is for voting, if you see that shit down the street, you're like, I don't give a fuck if this is a paid day off for me or not. Like, legit, I'm not about to stand in this line, and this line is literally wrapped around the church parking lot. Whereas though, and I remember, like I said, I remember the Barack Obama joke, the 2008 election, and that joke, the parking lot was literally draped around the corner.
Yeah, stupid.
Let alone that was before.
Wait.
That was before 6 feet apart. So if that shit was down, like that shit would literally be down the block.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How long was you in line? You remember, Al? I was in line for like 3.5 hours.
I remember it being like 3 hours at least.
Damn, 3.5 hours?
Yeah.
Why you doing it all willy-nilly though?
Well, easy then. That's easy then. Because me personally, so if we're equating Walmart to standing in line to go into Walmart right now with the pandemic and going into voting or whatever, before then, I would expect to at least stand in line for at least an hour for voting or whatever. That's I don't know. That's how I was. I expected
Why
to
can't they break it down by like last name or some shit? Why can't they break it down by last name and what day you go? Like it's still gonna be like that?
Yeah, that would make sense. But your boy
gave my idea.
Your boy is president, so we're not gonna.
No. So it's not in the Constitution to break it down. So
it's not.
I mean, the same way like Trump can't. I mean, the way he like insinuated that he was gonna push the election date back. Like the same way, like in the Constitution, it says that the election is held on the first Tuesday of every November. And luckily for me, like, I always remember that shit because either that was my birthday or that was my mom's birthday, and like we used to get off of school for that day. But like it's like set in stone that it's supposed to be the first Tuesday. And I think the only way you could break it down, I'm sorry, not the only way. One of the ways that you would be able to break it down was like try to break it down by like time slots, and then I think that would be fucked up because like people, your job is supposed to let you off for that.
You're home anyway, shit. Quarantine.
That's not a law. That's not a law. They're not supposed to let you off. That's not a law.
They are supposed to let you. They're supposed to let you off for a lot of periods of time. They're supposed to give you at least 2 hours. That's a law.
But do you know USPS?
When you go into work,
you know USPS is $160 billion in debt.
Yeah.
Huh? Who?
The Postal Service is $160.9 billion in debt, and they was only 2.1. They was only
my back.
So that's why they snatching up mailboxes.
They was only $2.1 billion in debt as of 2006. Like what the fuck?
That's why they snatching up mailboxes, huh?
No.
Nah, that ain't the reason why they snatching up the mailboxes. The reason they snatching up alluded to the shit, but I mean that's a whole different thing.
No, what I'm saying, that's what your man gonna say though.
I go from 2 to 106. And USPS been around since like 200 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
just the Pony Express.
That's right.
Just the Pony Express.
Right
just the Pony Express.
And they're like the only like government agency that they don't get paid off of taxes, right?
I don't think so. But I do know for a fact that, I mean,
I'm not sure.
They're the government agency that literally is assigned to supposed to, and I know they don't, but they're supposed to drop off mail each and every day to every neighborhood house. Whereas though, you know what I'm saying, UPS and FedEx and DHS and all those other like shipping companies, they're not obligated to, you know what I'm saying, go into the neighborhoods, the residential neighborhoods on a day in and day out basis. And I think that's why, you know what I'm saying, USPS is so vital to how our government, I mean, not only how our government is run, but how our society moves and how our society shapes. Because like USPS is like obligated to go. Once again, we know sometimes USPS doesn't go into every neighborhood on every day, but supposed to go into every neighborhood on every single day, every single Monday through Friday day or Saturday, whatever the days are. But they're supposed to go in through every day. Whereas though, you know what I'm saying, UPS and all those other shipping companies don't necessarily have to go into neighborhoods on a daily basis.
Yeah.
I would say USPS is like, even though like they get a bad rep, they better than fucking UPS. I fucking hate UPS.
I agree with that. I agree with that shit like a month.
Fuck you.
But they're not better than Amazon.
It's like USPS versus UPS is like the professional standard is like completely different.
But from what I read, the reason USPS is in debt is because like something with their pension plans, like they're obligated. They have, I think it was some bill passed in around 2006. This was like Bush term, and they're like obligated to pay it within a certain amount of years. So if like you put like 10 years of work in, they have to like pay that shit back off of 10 years of work.
And that's specifically for them?
That's not about right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Fuck that shit.
Damn.
Right.
Yeah,
that's,
I know what you mean.
That's a lot.
Because Pepco is the same way. You're right. And they went in debt that same way, too. Because if you do 8 years at Pepco, they're required to give you a pension now.
And that's why Pepco is like outsourcing so much of their fucking resources right now.
Mm-hmm. They be forcing niggas into retirement and all that shit. Mm-hmm. Yep. That sound about right.
Yeah.
Sound about right.
Yeah, it sound about right. Yeah.
The dead giveaway with Trump is how he hired one of his boys to be like the lead post. They call it postmaster.
Yeah.
That's such a fucking gay ass title.
I'm trying to tell you, man. All of these votes is not going to be counted. Oh, they're not. There's going to be a whole state that they're like.
You can guarantee that shit.
Throw the whole state away. Watch. It's going to be one state.
That's funny though. This whole shit is funny. 2020
It's a show.
It's the biggest hijack you have ever seen in
a freaking show.
I remember the Florida Bush conspiracy. Come on now.
Yeah. The recount.
Yeah, that's nothing. That's nothing compared to what's going on. That's nothing.
Get the fuck out of here.
That's nothing. That's nothing.
The recount
is literally snatching at mailboxes. That's nothing, dog. That is nothing.
That's
what's going on right now.
The same time we said last week, Paul, like, do it matter when fucking the Democrats are tanking regardless?
Yeah, that's true.
That's true too.
So can I revisit that for a second? Are the Democrats tanking? So I was
about to say why you say they're tanking?
Their moves, like we said, obviously everybody like Bernie, what he stood for, like his popular vote was like through the roof, and the nigga just like, all right, y'all, I guess this is too much for me. Even though I'm winning, I'm ahead. I'm gonna bow out. And like they put Biden clearly not on his level, and they just gave him the keys. Like that shit don't make sense. Like, come on now.
Yeah.
Hey, right. But at the same time, so and to be that counter guy, you said the popular vote. The popular vote won Hillary that shit in 2016.
Talking about we're not at that point.
Fucking
We're not at that point.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Go ahead though, Al.
Hey, he in the preliminaries. He's like, nah.
Yeah.
Well, that goes to what Brian was saying. That goes to what Brian was saying last week too. Like, I feel like it's always a selection. Like, you know what I'm saying? Even your popularity and who you are and what you stand for, it doesn't matter compared to what people's motives are that are in high places. And they're like, you know, if this pushes my agenda, this is who we're going to elect. You know what I mean? And I'm not sure.